All right, so I got called in on a Sunday on a holiday, so you must be super important. They have me doing a ton of systems all at once, so I'm gonna be looking at heart models, blood vessel models, digestive models, and all that histology too. So for you, we're looking at heart models. What can we see on these models here? Well, this is the right and left atrium, the right and left ventricle, right auricle, left auricle, of the right atrium and left atrium, and the apex of the heart down here, right ventricle, left ventricle. What else do we need to see? All of the valves, the important valves. So over here between the right atrium and right ventricle, we have the tricuspid valve. And over here between the left atrium and left ventricle, we have the bicuspid valve. The other valves that we have are the pulmonary semilunar valve that leads up into the pulmonary trunk, and the aortic semilunar valve that leads up into the aorta. So over here we can see the tricuspid, bicuspid, pulmonary semilunar valve leading up into the pulmonary trunk, the aortic semilunar valve leading up into the aorta. Other things that we need to be aware of, the inside lining of the walls is endocardium. This is the myocardium. Outside would be the epicardium. You could see that on the sheep dissection. Great vessels. So the great vessels, pretty obviously, are the aorta. And so this is the ascending aorta, the aortic arch, descending aorta. This is the pulmonary trunk that branches into the left and right pulmonary arteries. This is the superior vena cava. Well, this is the superior vena cava that's draining our brachiocephalic veins. And this is the inferior vena cava. Over here we can see this is the pulmonary trunk right here. This is the aorta right here. You can see this is where our heart gets sighted. Can you step back for a moment, assistant? Right here. We go to the right side, we go to this little brachiocephalic trunk. And to the left side, this is the left common carotid artery and the left subclavian artery. So that's going to be a difference. The superior vena cava, and then the inferior vena cava we can see back here. Okay, so pulmonary veins are going to return oxygenated blood to the left atrium. So you can see those here and here. So let's just follow the pathway of blood through the heart on a model. We would come from the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava and coronary sinus. The coronary sinus drains the coronary circulation all right here into the right atrium. So then blood will pass through our tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, and then up through the pulmonary semilunar valve into the pulmonary trunk, through my left and right pulmonary arteries and out to the lungs. We'll have gas exchange, then that oxygen rich blood will enter my right and left pulmonary veins, which drain into my left atrium, which passes through my bicuspid valve into my left ventricle, and then from my left ventricle I go up through my aortic semilunar valve into my ascending aorta and to the branches that serve the body. Okay, so some other things that we need to be able to see in here are these chordae tendineae that are attached to papillary muscles. The papillary muscles are easier to see, I think, on this model. You can see it looks like a papilla. And they reach up and anchor our chordae tendineae, and the chordae tendineae snap the AV valve shut. So we can see those. We can see this is the coronary sulcus right here that is between our atria and our ventricles. So that's the coronary sulcus. And in it we see our right coronary artery that's going to branch down into the right marginal artery and continue around into the posterior interventricular artery, which was residing in the posterior interventricular sulcus. If we look here on the left side, our left coronary artery is going to branch pretty immediately into the anterior interventricular artery and the circumflex artery. The circumflex artery goes around in that coronary sulcus. This is the anterior interventricular sulcus. This is the apex of the heart. This is the base of the heart. Inside the walls of the ventricles, we have these muscular ridges called trabeculae carneae. Inside the walls of the atrium, we have these muscular ridges called pectinate muscles. So I believe those are all of the structures you need to be able to identify on a heart model.